Hello my friends, today we are gonna design this e-commerce website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We have an awesome slider here. When we click the button, it's gonna scroll down to the product component and it will change this product immediately. And we can change the product color and its size. And we are gonna handle all these functionalities using vanilla JavaScript. No libraries, no frameworks. I know some people struggle with coding pure JavaScript, even if they are comfortable with React or any other libraries. But after this tutorial, you are gonna see how easy to use it. And this website will be mobile responsive. You will understand how to use CSS media queries efficiently. And finally, we are gonna deploy this website using a hosting service. To do that, we will be using Hostinger, one of the most popular hosting providers and the sponsor of this video. There is a huge discount nowadays. Let's check hosting plans. As you can see, you will be able to deploy 100 websites. You will have more than enough storage. But the amazing thing is you are gonna get a free domain, free SSL certificate and unlimited bandwidth. You can choose any time period here, and if you use the link in the description below or Lama Dev coupon code here, you are gonna get an extra discount. After choosing the payment method, it will be ready for the deploying your websites. If you are ready, let's design this website and deploy it here. Okay, let's create our index file first. I'm gonna come here and say index.html, and after that we are gonna need a style file. By the way, I can make here bigger, and I will say style.css, and we are gonna need a JavaScript file. So it's gonna be app.js. Okay, let's close them. And I'm gonna create a document. It's gonna be the shortcut and like this. Let's give a title. Let's say Nike store or whatever you want. And let's write here hello. So how we are gonna run our application? To do that, I'm gonna use live server extension here. And if I come here and right click, and if I say open with live server, it's gonna open my Chrome browser and it's here. Perfect. But I want to change this font family. To do that, we are gonna be using Google Fonts, and I'm gonna write here font family, and we are gonna use this one. Let's choose all those options. We are not gonna use italic ones, but in any case. So let's come here and copy this part, and before this title I can paste it like that. And also in our style file we should provide this font family, so I'm gonna copy here and let's create another link here which we are gonna refer our style file. So I will say link is gonna be style sheet, and I will say style.css. Okay, we can use it right now. Let's come here and open up style CSS, and I will use body. So it's gonna include all HTML elements, and I will say font family and this family. Let's see right now. As you can see, it has changed. But there is a space here, as you can see, that because by default there is a padding and margin. Let's make them 0 and like that. Okay, let's create a navbar. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna create a navbar. But before, I forgot creating here image folder. I will say image, and I'm gonna move all images which we are gonna use in our app. Okay, you are gonna see them later. Let's close here and let's delete here and open navbar tag. And I'm gonna create two divs here. First one will be navbar top and Navbar bottom. This is gonna include our logo, search bar, and some text. So basically we are gonna have a logo here, search bar on the middle, and here I'm gonna write some text like limited offer or start shopping, something like that. To do that, let's create navbar item. I'll say nav item. Now first one will be our logo, and it's gonna be image folder and sneakers.png. And second item, and third one. And it's gonna include search bar. Let's create another div. It's gonna include an input and search bar icon. So let's say input, and class name will be search input. And let's write here placeholder and search. Like that. You cannot see our logo that because it's white also, but don't worry, we are gonna see right now. And next to this input, let's create image here, and it's gonna be search icon. By the way, there's a typo here. Okay, let's write here image folder and search.png. Like that. It's really big. Let's give some width and height. It's gonna be 20, 20, like that. Okay. What about third one? I'm just gonna write here a span, and let's say limited offer. And that's all. So let's open up our style file here. And let's start with navbar. Navbar. And firstly, let's give a background color. It's gonna be this black color. Right now you can see our logo. It's nothing special, it's just a text. And text color will be white. And I'm gonna give some padding. From top and bottom it's gonna be 20. But left and right, it's gonna be 50 pixels. Like that. 20, 50. 20 and 50. So how I'm gonna make these items horizontal? It's really easy. If you are following my tutorials, as we always do, we are gonna be using flexbox. So let's take our container, which is nav top. And I will say display flex. Like that. I'm gonna center them vertically, so I will say align item center, and I want to separate them through this navbar. So first item will be here, second will be in the middle, and last one will be on the right. To do that, I'm gonna use justify content. It's gonna be space between. But why I can't see this text? Okay, I didn't save. I will save, and it's here. Perfect. So let's take care of this search bar. Remember, we have a container here first, which includes input and icon. So again, I'm gonna use display flex, and if I say align item center, they are gonna be centered vertically. Let's give background color. It's gonna be gray. Like that. Let's extend this search bar. So I will say padding 10 and 20. Like that. And maybe border radius here. Border radius is gonna be 10 pixels. Okay, perfect. What about this input? Here, search input. Firstly, I'm gonna delete this border. It's gonna be none. And I'm gonna delete this background color. So let's say background color and transparent. Oops, not border, background. Like that. But as you can see, we are not able to see this text. To prevent this, I'm gonna use again search input, and I'm gonna use here placeholder. That because this text in the placeholder here. So let's say color light gray. Like that. So what about this text? Remember, limited offer. I'm gonna increase font size 20 pixels. Let's give border and bottom is gonna be 2 pixels solid and green. Like that. And let's give cursor pointer. It could be a link or something like that. Okay. Let's close here and let's take care of bottom. What we are gonna add here? We are gonna add our product links. So I'm gonna use h3 tag and it's gonna be menu item. And first one will be Air Force, and for more it's gonna be Air Jordan or just Jordan, Blazer, Creator, and Hippie. Let's see. As you can see, they are here. And let's give some style. I'm gonna open style again. And I will say Navbar bottom. And again, it's gonna be display flags, align item center. And this time I'm gonna use justify content center. So they're gonna be in the middle of the container. If I say space between, remember, it's gonna spread them through this container, but we are gonna be using center. And for each item, menu item, remember, I'm gonna give margin right. Maybe more, it can be 50. Okay, it's better. And I'm gonna say cursor pointer so we can click them, and color will be light gray. Like that. Maybe I can decrease font weight. Let's say 400. Okay, it's much better, I think. And we finished our navbar. Nothing extraordinary. It's just a minimal navbar. And let's create our slider here. I'm gonna close here again. And after this navbar, I'm gonna say slider. And inside, I'm gonna create a wrapper. Let's say slider wrapper. And we are gonna have 5 different slides for Air Force, Jordan, Blazer, for all those products. So let's say slider item. There are gonna be 5 of them, but I'm not gonna duplicate right now because I'm gonna fill inside. So what we are gonna have? Firstly, we are gonna add our product image. Let's say slider image. And I'm gonna add here first shoes, and it's gonna be air.png. Let's see. Okay, it's here. And under this image, I just wanna give a circle, and it's gonna look fancier, I think. And let's say slider BG. I'm not gonna write anything here, that because it's gonna be just a circle, no text, no image, no anything else. And let's create here a title. It's gonna be slider title and Air Force new season, like that. But I want to separate this sentence, so I can give break for them, break, and for here like that. Another title, this time it's gonna be H2, and let's say slider price. Product price will be $119. And one more, it's gonna be a button, and let's say buy button, and it's gonna say buy now. So let's give some style. Firstly, I'm gonna give a background image for this slider. Let's open again style.css, and I'm gonna come here and say slider, and I will say background, and I'm gonna use here URL. I found a free background, I'm gonna use it from Unsplash. Let's see. Okay, something like that. It's pretty cool. And I'm gonna use one more cool tool, and it's gonna be clip path. If you search for it, you are gonna see this website. Let's click on it, and as you can see, you can create any shape for your divs. I'm not gonna use any of them, so I'm gonna use custom polygon, or we can just use this one, and I'm gonna give a shape for my div. It's gonna be something like that. Maybe I can shrink here 85%, something like that. And if I copy here and paste for my slider, you are gonna understand better right now. Like that. And as you can see, it's exactly the same shape. You can choose any other shapes here, or you can use custom polygon and just create your own shape like that. Whatever you want, just copy this clip path and use it here. So I can close here. And what about this wrapper? Slider wrapper. To understand this wrapper better, I'm gonna duplicate this slider item. Remember, we have 5 products like that, and I'm gonna change them. It's gonna be jordan.png. Actually, I can just copy and paste them. There is nothing different. I don't want to waste time. Like that. Jordan, Blazer, and others. By the way, there is a mistake here, but okay, let's see right now. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 products. But as you can see, they are vertical. To prevent this, I'm gonna come here and say display flags. And for each item, this slider item will contain whole screen. So in this case, we are gonna have 5 full screen items. So let's write here with 100 VW. As you can see, other shoes are not here. That's because we used clip path here. It uses 100% of this screen. If I delete this, as you can see, they are here. For each item, each slider item, I will say with 100 VW. As you can see, it contains all this screen, and second one, third one, like that. I think you understood what we are doing. When we click any of those products, we are gonna move this wrapper like that, to right or left. For instance, if I click here, we are gonna move this wrapper 100 VW, it's gonna be here. If I click Air Force again, this time we are gonna move our wrapper here. Let me open this command again. And what I'm gonna do? Firstly, let's center everything inside this item. To do that, I'm gonna use display flags, align item center, and justify content center. Like that. As you can see, they are centered vertically and horizontally, but I don't want to see all those informations here. This text will be somewhere here, price will be somewhere here, and button will be here. So basically, I'm gonna use different positioning. Which one we are gonna use? It's gonna be position absolute. So let's come here. As you can see, slider title, price, and pay button. Let's say slider title, and I'm gonna use position absolute. If I give some position for this title, let's say left 0, and as you can see right now it's here, right 0, here. If I say top, we are gonna have an issue like that. As you can see, it's not here, it's somewhere here. To prevent this, we have to use position relative for this parent. So if I come here and say position relative, and let's save. Right now, as you can see, top 0. There is a space here, that because it's an H1 tag. By default, it has a padding. So basically, it works like that. If you are using position absolute, the parent should be position relative. Let's say color white first. Like that. And I'm gonna change here, it's gonna be 10%. Somewhere here. What about right side? Let's do the same thing for right side. 10%. Okay, perfect. Let's increase this font size. Let's say 60. And font weight will be a little bit bolder, like that. And I can center these words. So if I say text align center, they are gonna be centered. Perfect. What about this price? I wanna put this somewhere here. Let's copy this and change the name. I will say price. It's gonna be again absolute. Top will be 10%, but this time it's gonna be left. Let's change this font weight. It's gonna be thinner, something like that. And I'm gonna give border 1 pixel, solid, and let's say gray, like that. Of course, we are gonna change those colors for each item. By the way, we forgot this background circle. Let's take this and after image. Okay, we didn't use image here. Maybe after item. I'm gonna say 50. Height will be the same. And I'm gonna make this circle. So I will say border radius 50%. If I give any background color here, you are gonna see better. Okay, it's here because of display flex. And again, it's gonna be position absolute. Something like that. Okay, but I want to see this circle under those texts and image. So if I come here and say set index 1, as you can see, it's on this circle right now. I'm gonna do the same thing for price and image. We didn't use image. Let's write here slider image and set index 1, like that. Perfect. Of course, we are gonna change this background color. So I'm gonna delete it because for each item it's gonna be different color. Before doing that, let's take care of our pay button. Let's come here. Actually, again, I will duplicate this and change this name. Position absolute, and top will be 50%. Right will be 10% again, somewhere here. Color will be white, we don't need this. Font weight, let's say 900, it's gonna be thick. And let's give cursor pointer. And let's change this background color. It's gonna be, oops, it's border. Background color is gonna be black. Like that. But it's too big. Let's come here and say 30 pixels, something like that. Perfect. And when I hover over this pay button, I'm gonna change its color and background color. So let's say pay button and hover effect. Oops, hover. And this time background color will be white and text color will be black. Like that. Awesome. So let's give different color for each background here. How we are gonna do this? We can use slider item siblings here. Remember, we have 5 slider items and each one has slide background color. So we can use nth child selector here. What I mean by that, I will say slider item and nth child. For first child it's gonna be 1, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Let's see. Actually, I will say background color, let's say yellow. And as you can see, first item is yellow. But others, let me comment this out again. This clip path. As you can see, others are still white. If I change this, second one, this time it's transparent and second one is yellow. So basically it works like that. So what I'm gonna do is choosing my first item and it's slider background. Okay, it's slide background. Why I wrote here slide, I don't know, but anyway, doesn't matter. And I'm gonna change its color. It's gonna be something like that, green. Let's see. As you can see, this is our first background, and others still same. So let's do the same thing for others. I'm just gonna copy and paste. There is nothing special. For second, third, fourth, and fifth, I just gave different colors. Okay, let's change this actually. I had a mistake here. Slider. Because others are slider. And here it's gonna be slider. Okay, let's see again. As you can see, purple, this green color, blue, and this color. I don't know what's the name. Okay. Oops, something wrong. Ah, sorry. It's gonna be here, slider. Okay, perfect. So I can do the same thing for this price. I'm gonna choose again slider item and ant child, but instead of slider BG, it's gonna be slider price. So I'm gonna copy and paste again. As you can see, slider item and slider price. And text color will be exactly the same color which we have applied here. Let's see. Okay, green. This is gonna be white. That because if I make this purple on this wall, on this black wall, it's gonna look a little bit weird. So I just made this white and green and others. Perfect. So we finished our slider and its style, but what about sliding functionality? What we are gonna do is creating some functions in our JS file. So I'm gonna close this style and open up app.js. Firstly, for the beginners, I'm gonna show you how to select items using JavaScript file. But firstly, we should define this file in our HTML file. Before this body, I'm gonna say script and source will be app.js. Okay, if I come here and say console log, hello, this is JavaScript. Let's see. I'm gonna open my console and it's here. Perfect, it works. But how I'm gonna select my items? Firstly, what I want to select is this wrapper. And we are using class name here, so we can use it. If I come here and say, let's delete here, I'm gonna say const wrapper, and it's gonna be document and query selector, and I'm gonna use here my class name, which is slider wrapper. And if I write here console log and wrapper, and let's see what we have. As you can see, it gives us our div and it's all those properties. Its class name, its height, its position, width, and bunch of other things here. So I'm able to reach this div, which means I can give any style. Remember how we are gonna give this slider effect? At the beginning, this wrapper's initial point on the x-axis is 0. It's here. If I move this something like that, which means if I change its position on the x-axis, we are gonna see second item. And same thing for others. So how we are gonna give this style? If I come here and say wrapper and style, and you can give any style here. Let's say background color, for example. And I'm gonna say red. And as you can see, we can change it like that. So how we are gonna change this position? We are gonna use transform property. And I will say translate x-axis, and I can give any number here. Let's say 100 pixels. And as you can see, its initial point is not 0 anymore. It starts from 100 pixels. If I make this 1000 pixels, As you can see, it starts from here. As you realize, if I use a positive number, it's moving to right side. If I make this minus 1000, as you can see, it's somewhere between the first slide and second slide. So if I write here 100 VW, it's gonna be second item and it's full screen. If I make 200, other item, 300, other item, and 400. It's that easy. But how I'm gonna give this functionality? When I click any of those menu items, I wanna change this slider position. To do that, we can use click event listener, but before I should choose those items. Let's come here and see. As you can see, their class name is menu item. I'm gonna use it. And I'm gonna do the same thing, const menu items and document query selector, but this time we are gonna use query selector and all. That's because we have multiple items here. We have 5 items. We are gonna choose all of them. Let's write here class name, menu item. Okay, so I'm gonna give click event for each of those items. To do that, we can use for each method. So I will say menu items and for each, and I'm gonna take each item and their indexes. And for each item, I'm gonna write an event listener. So I will say item dot add event listener, and it's gonna be click event. There are tons of events. For example, click event, mouse over, mouse left. There are many things. Of course, I'm not gonna show you all of them in this tutorial, but if you want to learn more about event listeners, how to use them, how to remove them, how to use capturing and all other things, just let me know in the comments. But basically, this function is gonna listen our document, and whenever we click this item, it's gonna run a function here. Which function we are gonna run? Let's write here an arrow function, and let's say console log. You clicked. I should close it here like that, and let's see. Actually, let's write here this index also, and you can understand better why we are using this index. So let's see. I'm gonna open my console and I'm gonna click the first item. And as you can see, you clicked 0. You clicked 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, whenever I click any of those items, it runs this function. So right now, changing this wrapper position is easier. Only thing I should do is coming here and say style and transform. And I'm gonna use here backtick that because we are gonna use this index in this string. So let's say translate x. I'm gonna use a JavaScript function here, and it's gonna be 100 VW, remember, minus 100, and I will say multiply by index, and it's gonna be VW here. For the first item, our index is 0. 100 times 0 is gonna be 0, so nothing is gonna change here. It's gonna be 0 again. But if I click this one, 1 is gonna be minus 100 VW, so we are gonna move on the x-axis and we are gonna see this item. And for others, it's gonna be the same. Let's try. I'm gonna click and we are going to second item. Third one, fourth, and fifth. If I click here, we are gonna go back to left side. It's that easy. But the transition is too sharp. To prevent this, I'm gonna open style file, and for this slider, by the way, I can open this again. And for this wrapper, I will say transition, and for all animation, it's gonna take, let's say, 1 second, and timing function will be is in out, or whatever you say. Let's see again. I'm gonna click. As you can see, our animation is much better. You can increase or decrease this number, this timing function, and if you want to learn more about these transitions, those transforms, or other advanced CSS animations, you can check my mini course in the description below. It's an awesome course that you can improve your animation skills. So we finished our slider. By the way, we can see this horizontal scroll bar. How we are gonna delete this? If I come here and for this slider, I'm gonna say overflow hidden. So if it overflows, it's just gonna hide it like that. Let's see again. It works perfectly. Let's close everything here and let's create another HTML element. I'm gonna create here new div and it's gonna be features. And we are gonna have 4 features. Let's create first one. Feature, and each one is gonna include one image, one title, and one description. So let's say image, feature, image, and it's gonna be image folder and shipping.png. And after this image, let's add title. I will say feature title is gonna be free shipping, and one more span, and it's gonna be our description, featured description, free worldwide shipping on all orders. And I'm gonna create other items. I'm just gonna copy and paste. They are gonna be the same. Only thing we are changing here, their title, image, and description. Like that. Okay, let's take care of them. I'm gonna open my style. Here. And let's come here and let's make them display flags, and they are gonna be horizontal. So I'm gonna use my features component and display flags, align item center, and justify content space between. Like that. Let's give some padding from here and top. And for each feature. But before this, let's take care of those icons. They are really huge. It's width and height. Okay, it's better. What's wrong with you? Oh, I said image is gonna be icon. Okay, perfect. And for each item here, I'm gonna use display flex again, but this time it's gonna be vertical. Flex direction will be column. Remember, to make them horizontal, we are just using display flex, but to make them vertical, we have to write here flex direction column. Let's center them, align item center, like that. And I will say text align center, like that. Perfect. And for this title, by the way, there is a mistake again. It's gonna be feature description. Okay. For this title, I'm gonna say font size 20, font weight will be a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna give some space between this image and description, so I will say margin 20. Okay. And for this description, color will be gray. As you can see, it looks really nice, but if I come here and write here something else, as you can see, it's getting really huge and it looks pretty ugly. To prevent this, I will take this back and I'm gonna give here a custom width and height. Let's say 50% and height 100 pixels. Okay, Let's create another div, and it's going to include our product image and its information. And finally, we are going to have a buy button. When we click that button, we are going to see here a modal. We are going to give our user information and credit card information, and we will be able to buy that product. But it's going to be dynamic. So whenever we change this product, we are going to see that product here. Of course, we are going to handle that later. First, let's create this div. And I will say product, and it's going to include our image. It's going to be product image. Let's say image, air, and PNG. We are going to change this later. And one more div is going to be product details. First detail will be product title, Air Force H1, and it's going to be H2, and I'm going to write here price. Let's write here something, price, and I'm going to add here a p tag which includes product description. So I'm going to write here lorem, and it's going to generate some random sentences like that. Let's see what we have. Image, title, price, and description. And what else? We are going to have colors and sizes. Let's write here colors. Is going to be color container, and it's going to include 2 colors. Let's say color 1 and 2. I'm not giving anything that because in the CSS file we are going to give just background color. And one more, and it's going to be sizes. In this sizes container, I'm going to create 3 different sizes. Let's say 42, 3, and 4. And finally, we are going to have pay button. Let's say button and product button. And I will say buy now. Like that. Okay, let's give our style. Style CSS. And first one will be our main container. Product. And I will say height 100 VH. And background color, let's say white smoke. And position will be relative, that because we are going to use position absolute for those details. And again, I'm going to use clip path. I'm just going to copy and paste. Let's see. Something like that. Remember, it was like that, but this time I just cropped this top left. And what about this image? It's too big. Let's come here. Product image. Oops, dot. I will say width 50%. And for details, which includes our title, price, and other things, I will say position absolute. And top will be 10%, right will be 0, like that. But it's too long. Let's give some width. It's gonna be 40%, and I'm gonna give some padding. Like that. Where are those sizes and button? Let's see. Okay, this product details doesn't cover them. Let's make this here. Okay, perfect. Let's give some style for them. For this title, I'm gonna say font size 75, and font weight will be really big, like that. And for this description, font size will be 24, and color will be gray, like that. And for those colors and sizes, I want to see their items horizontal, so I will say colors and sizes, display flex. As you can see, it's here horizontal, but we cannot see colors. That's because we don't have any color yet. Let's say color. I'm gonna give some width and height. Border radius is gonna be 5 pixels. And let's say background color black. Okay, right now they are here. I'm gonna give some margin between them. 10 pixels, and cursor will be pointer. Okay, perfect. Let's change this second item color. If I come here and say color and last item, and background color will be dark blue. This is first item, this is last item. We can change them like that. And let's give margin between them here. Margin bottom 20. Okay, perfect. So what about those sizes? I will say size. I'm gonna give some padding from top and bottom, left and right, like that. And let's give some border. 1 pixel, solid and black. And margin between them. Cursor pointer and font size 20 pixels. Like that. And for this button, I want to see it somewhere here, so I can use float. What was the class name? Product button. I will say float right. Right now it's here. Let's give some padding. 10 and 20. Like that. Black, and font color will be white. Oops, I used border again. Okay. And font weight will be 600. And finally, cursor pointer. Like that. And when I hover over, I'm gonna change background and font color. As we did before, I'm gonna say hover, and background color will be white, and text color will be black. Like that. Perfect. So we finished this component also. As I said, when we change those slides, we are gonna change those images, titles, and other informations. But how we are gonna do that? Of course with JavaScript. So let's go to the app.js. I'm gonna close here. App.js. Okay. Firstly, I'm gonna write here my product array like that. As you can see, 5 products, their titles, prices, and colors. And in this colors array, we have 2 items. First one will be black shoes and its image, blue shoes and its image. Let's check here. As you can see, this is black one, this is blue one in this CSS file, remember. I'm gonna search for color. Here, if you remember, we gave just black and dark blue, and this time it's gonna be dynamic and it's gonna choose those codes. And according to those codes, it's gonna load its image and other products here. So firstly, when we click those items in the Navbar here, I'm gonna create a chosen product. What I mean by that? Let's come here and say, let chosen product. At the beginning, it's gonna be products and first item, which is Air Force here. But when we click those menu items, I'm gonna change this. Remember, we are changing this wrapper. Let's write here, change the current slide. And I'm gonna do one more thing here. Change the chosen product. Only thing I should do is writing here, chosen product and products and index. Remember, we are using index here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And according to its index, we are gonna change this item. Let's say we choose second item, it's gonna be Air Jordan, and price will be this price, and colors will be those colors. But how I'm gonna pass those informations here? Firstly, using query selector, I'm gonna choose this image, title, price, and those colors. Let's do that here. For example, here I'm gonna say const current product image, and it's gonna be document query selector image class name is gonna be product image current. And I'm gonna do the same thing for others, title, price, colors, and sizes, and make sure that you change query selector all, that because there are multiple colors and sizes. And when we click those menu items, I'm gonna write here one more thing, and it's gonna be change texts of current product. I'm gonna change this title. How I'm gonna do this? It's really easy. Only thing I should do is writing here text content, and it's gonna be, let's say, something. And I'm gonna click here, for example, and as you can see, it's changing. But we already have a chosen product, remember here. So instead of this string, chosen product and its title. Let's see. I'm gonna choose blazer and it's here. I'm gonna choose this one and it's here. It's that easy. And I'm gonna do the same thing for price. Current product price is gonna be chosen product and price. 199. I'm gonna choose this one. As you can see, it's 99 and it's here. Of course, there is no $sign here. Let's write here $sign and plus this amount. What about this image? Current product image. I'm gonna change its source. We are gonna use this chosen product again, but this time, remember, we have multiple colors and each color has its image. And for the beginning, I can choose just first one. To do that, I will just come here and say colors and first one and its image. Colors, first one and its image. Let's see. I'm gonna choose these shoes. As you can see, it's here. Jordan here. It's gonna work like that. Perfect. But how we are gonna change those colors? We have current product colors here. Only thing I should do is changing styles for each color. What I mean by that? Current product colors, this black and blue one. For each color, let's say for each, I'll say color and its index. And I'm gonna say color.style .background color, and it's gonna be chosen product and colors. And which color we are gonna use? We are gonna use index here and code. Let's write here assign new colors. Let's see right now. I'm gonna change. And as you can see, it's here. This one. And again. And this one. As you can see, it's changing. If you are confused about what I'm doing here, just don't worry, there is nothing that complicated. Just stop the video and watch it again, and you are gonna understand better, trust me. And one more thing we should do. As you can see, those colors are not functional. When I click that, this image is not changing. Let's think what we can do. Firstly, we are gonna choose those colors. Remember, we already did. They are here. We are gonna add event listener for each color, and according to those color, we are gonna change this image. How we can do that? Let's come here and write another function. I will say current product colors for each, and again for each color and their indexes. I'm gonna add event listener, and it's gonna be click event again. It's gonna work after clicking them. And current image and source, we are gonna change it again. And it's gonna be chosen product, colors, its index, and image. It's exactly the same thing what we have done here. We change color backgrounds, but this time we are gonna change image. I'm gonna click here. As you can see, it's blue. Black, blue. Let's check this one. Black and gray. Perfect, it works. By the way, we can give functionality for this button. When we click this, our application is gonna scroll down right here, and we will be able to interact with this product. How we can do this? I'm gonna open index.html. Let's close this sidebar, by the way. And for product component, I'm gonna give an ID, and it's gonna be product again. And only thing I should do is for those buttons, let's choose all of them. I'm gonna add an anchor element here, and I'm gonna cover those buttons like that, and I'm gonna give href, and it's gonna be our ID, which is product. Let's see. I'm gonna click here, and we are going to the product component. But as you can see, it's really sharp. We can give animation for this. Let's go to style file, and at the beginning, before this body, I'm gonna say HTML, and scroll behavior will be smooth. Let's see right now. I'm gonna click, and it's gonna go to this component slowly. I'm gonna change here, this one, by now, and it's here. Perfect. But what about those sizes? We cannot choose any of them. For each size, we are gonna add click event, let's say background color black or something like that. Let's do that. I'm gonna close here. And in app.js, remember we have sizes here. And for each size, I'm gonna give click event. For each size and index, size dot add event listener, click event, and size dot style, and background color will be black, and one more, text color will be white. Let's see. I'm gonna click. As you can see, it's changing. But there's a problem here. If I click this, it's gonna choose again. It's not gonna disable the previous one. How we are gonna handle that? We can use another for each here. current product sizes for each size. Let's choose here, multiply this and move it here, and it's gonna be white and black. So what we are doing here, when we click on any size, firstly it's gonna loop through each sizes and it's gonna reset their background color and text color, and after that it's gonna change the current size background color and text color. Let's see right now. I'm choosing this and I'm gonna choose this one. As you can see, it makes all those sizes first background color white, and after that it's changing this current size. Perfect. And what about this buy now button? When I click this button, I want to open a modal here that we can give our name, surname, address and credit card information. Let's do that. I'm gonna close here, and inside product here, remember this is product details. After these details I'm gonna create new div here, which is payment. Firstly, let's add a title. It's gonna be pay title. It's gonna be personal information, and I'm gonna add here a label. Let's say name and surname, and after that we are gonna have an input. It's gonna be pay input. My typos with this keyboard. And I'm gonna say placeholder, and let's say John Doe. I'm gonna do the same thing for phone number and address. Let's say phone number and a random number here and address. Something like that. Let's change this label. Okay, let's open style file, and after this product I'm gonna say payment. Let's give some width and height. Background color will be white and position will be absolute. And remember, our product position is relative, so it's not a problem. Let's see. Okay, it's somewhere here, but if I give any position like that, as you can see, it's here. But how I'm gonna center this model? It's really easy. If I say top 0, bottom 0, left and right 0, and when I write here margin auto, it's gonna center this item. Let's give some padding, 10 and 50 from left and right, like that. And display will be flex direction column, like that. And let's give some box shadow for this model. If you search for box shadow generator, you are gonna see a bunch of websites, and in those websites you can arrange your box shadow. You can make whatever you want, spread effect, blur effect and opacity. After arranging your box shadow, you can just copy and paste this CSS code. So I'm gonna paste mine like that. Let's see. Okay, it's much better right now. For this title, let's come here. Remember, this is paid title. I'm gonna say font size 20 pixels and color will be light gray. Oops, gray. Okay, gray. Okay, something like that. Maybe darker, like that. Okay, it's better. And those label and inputs, let's say label. We don't have any class name, we can use it like that because we don't have any other label. Font size 14 and font weight will be 3300, like that. And for those inputs, we have a class name here, pay input. Oops, dot pay input, and I'm gonna give some padding and margin between labels 10 pixels. From left and right is gonna be 0, like that. And I'm gonna delete those borders, border none, and I'm gonna just give bottom border. So let's say border bottom 1 pixel solid, and it's gonna be gray, like that. But those placeholder tags are really sharp. I'm gonna change its color. So I'm gonna choose this input again, and I will say hover, placeholder, and color will be, let's say, light gray again, darker, like that. Okay, it's much better. Let's create our cart information. Let's shrink this here. I'm gonna add one more H1 here, and it's gonna be cart information. And after that, I'm gonna add 2 cart icons, Visa and MasterCard. Let's create here cart icons, image and cart icon. First one will be image and Visa PNG, and second one will be MasterCard.png. We can give width here or in the CSS file, doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. And other inputs, after this cart icon, I will say input is gonna be pay input, exactly the same class name, but this time I'm gonna make this type password. That because when we write anything inside this input, we will not be able to see those characters. Let's say placeholder cart number. I'm not gonna use label here. And we are gonna add 3 more inputs, but this time they are gonna be horizontal. That because they are gonna be really short inputs. Expiration month, year, and CVV number. Let's do that. I'm gonna write here cart info, and let's create input. It's gonna be again pay input, but this time I'm gonna add one more class here, and it's gonna be small. Let's say placeholder month, year, and CVV. And finally, after this, we can add a button, and it's gonna be pay button, and I will say checkout. I can open here, and after this input, I'm gonna write my cart CSS. Firstly, cart icons, it's gonna be display flags. They are gonna be horizontal, and for each cart icon, I'm gonna give margin between those icons, like that. And for this container, remember, it's cart info. I will say display flags again, and let's say justify content, space between, and I'm gonna choose this small inputs. You can use pay input and small, or directly you can use small. So I'm gonna say with 30%. So what about this button? I'm gonna move this somewhere here after this component. So I'm gonna use absolute positioning. So let's choose this class name, pay button, position will be absolute. I'm gonna give some height, let's say 40%, pixels. Let's see. Okay, it's not here, that's because we didn't give any position. If I say bottom 0, it's gonna be here, but I wanna see this after this model. Remember, its height is 40 pixels. If I write here minus 40 pixels, it's gonna be underneath our model. Perfect. I will say with 100%. It starts from here. If I say left 0, it's gonna start from at the beginning of this model. By the way, I can give exactly the same box shadow. Let's copy here and paste for our button. And I'm gonna give background color. It's gonna be our green color and font color will be white. Let's delete this border. Border none. Okay, it's better. And cursor will be pointer. Like that. Perfect. It looks really nice. But if we don't want to buy any product, we cannot close this model. To prevent this, I'm gonna add here a small button. Let's come here after this button. I'm gonna say span and it's gonna be close. And I'm just gonna write here X. Let's choose this. And here. Let's give some width and height. 20. Position will be absolute. Background color will be black and text color will be white. Let's give its position. Top 10, right 10, so it's gonna be somewhere here like that. By the way, I can change this color. It's really dark. Okay, it's better. And let's center this X inside this component. I'm gonna say display flex, align item center, justify content center, like that. And I'm gonna say cursor pointer, maybe some padding. It's gonna be bigger. Okay, perfect. So when I click this button, I want to close this model. And when I click this button, I want to open this model. How I'm gonna do this? Firstly, at the beginning, we are not supposed to see this model. So I'm gonna go to payment component, and remember it was display flex, but I'm gonna make this display none. At the beginning, we are not gonna see it, but when I click this button, I'm gonna change its style and it's gonna be again display flex. To do that, of course, we are gonna use JavaScript. I'm just gonna copy and paste quickly. There is nothing different. Product button, payment model, and close button. Okay. So when I click on product button, let's say add event listener and click event. I'm gonna use my model and its style, and display will be flex again. And I'm gonna do the exactly same thing for close button. When I click on close button, payment style and display will be none. I'm gonna open and it's here. If I click here, it's gonna be closed. It's that easy. Perfect. So we completed the most complex things. We can choose our products. We can go to the product component. We can change color, size. We can open this model and close. So let's create 3 more components and deploy our application. So let's create a small gallery here. I'm gonna close this JavaScript file, and after this div, I'm gonna create gallery, and we are gonna have 3 gallery items. let's say gallery item, and it's gonna include a title, let's say gallery title, be yourself. I'm gonna add here a free image which I found on pexels.com, and its class name will be gallery image, gallery title and gallery image. Let's see. Okay, something like that. And we are gonna have 3 more gallery item. I'm just gonna copy and paste them. It's exactly the same thing, just different images and titles. Let's see. I'm gonna save, and they are here. But there's a difference here. First and last element's title before those images, but for the middle item I just added this title after this image. Okay, let's open our style. I will say gallery. Firstly, I'm gonna add a padding here, like that, and display will be flex. So they are gonna be horizontal like that. And for each item, gallery item, I'm gonna say flex 1. So they are gonna be in the same size. Instead of flex 1, you can just write width 33%. That because we have 3 items and each one will be 33.3 actually. To prevent this calculation, basically we can just use flex 1. And for each image, gallery image, I'm gonna say width 100%. Like that. And I can give padding for each item, by the way. Padding 50, and it looks much better right now. And that's all. You can do the same thing which we have done here, by the way. When you click any of those images, you can open new modal here and show your images, but it's not necessary, I think. It's totally enough. It looks really minimal. Let's create another component here. After this div, I'm gonna say new season. And again, we are gonna have 3 items. Let's say new season item, and it's gonna include an image like that. Again, from pexels.com, and its class name will be new season image. And one more new season image. Let's see first. Okay, they are here, 2 images. They are gonna be horizontal, but between those items, I'm gonna add something different. It's gonna be again new season item, but it's not gonna include image. It's gonna include some titles and button. So I will say H3 is gonna be new season title, maybe title small. It's gonna be winter new arrivals. I'm gonna duplicate this. It's gonna be H1, and let's write here new season. It's not gonna be small, it's gonna be title, and one more title, exactly the same title. I'm gonna write here new collection. And finally, anchor tag, because we are gonna go to again this product, and between this I'm gonna create a button, and its class name will be new season button. Choose your style. By the way, it's not gonna be product, I'm sorry, it's gonna be, we should choose our product first. So we are gonna go to Navbar. So let's say Navbar, but in our Navbar we don't have any ID. Let's create. ID will be nav. I'm gonna click and we are going to Navbar. After choosing any product, we can go to product. Perfect. So let's give our style. Firstly, new season. It's gonna be display flex, which means horizontal like this. And for each item, again, I'm gonna use flex 1. So they are gonna be in same size. Let's close here, and background color will be black. and text color white. Let's see. Of course, those images are really big. Let's make them first 100%. So new season image width will be 100%. Like that. Maybe I can give some height for them. Like that. And let's center those items. To do that, I'm gonna make this display flags, align item center, justify content center, and text align center. Oops, it should be of course flags direction column, like that. I can change this title. I'm gonna come here, new season title, font size will be 40 pixels, so they are gonna be bigger. And for this button, new season button, let's give some padding. Font weight will be thicker and cursor pointer, like that. When I click, we are going to Navbar. It looks really nice. And one more thing we are gonna need, and it's gonna be our footer. I'm gonna come here and say footer, and basically we are gonna have two main container. First one will be footer left and footer right. And inside this left container, we are gonna have 3 columns, and each column is gonna have different lists. So let's say footer menu, and firstly I'm gonna add a title, footer menu title, and let's say about us. And after that I'm gonna add a list, let's say UL F menu list, and each items inside, let's say li F menu item, maybe list item, company, contacts, and other things. Let's copy and paste actually, like that. And 2 more menu is gonna be useful links and products. Let's see what we have. As you can see, they are like that. I'm gonna change those items also. Let's change like that. And here it's gonna be Air Force, by the way. Before writing anything inside right, let's just write right and open our style CSS. For footer, I'm gonna make them display flags. And for the left side, footer left, I'm gonna give flags 2. And for the right side, footer right, it's gonna be flags 1. Like that. As you can see, left side is bigger than right side because it's flags 2 and this one is flags 1. And for the left side, again, they are gonna be horizontal, so it's gonna be display flags and justify content space between, and I'm gonna give some padding, like that. For those titles, F menu title, font size will be smaller, so let's say 16, like that. As you can see, there is a space here, that because in the list, F list, if it was F list or F menu list, okay, menu list, let's actually change it to list, it's better. I'm gonna say padding 0. Okay, it applied only this one, that because we didn't change others. List, like that. Okay, perfect. Let's delete those dots. Let's say list style is gonna be none. What about those links? Let's choose class name. I will say margin bottom, and color will be gray, and cursor pointer. Like that. Perfect. So let's take care of this right side. Firstly, I'm gonna give padding again. It's gonna start from here. So let's create some elements inside this right side. So let's say footer right menu, H1, footer menu title, subscribe to our newsletter. I'm gonna create mail container. It's gonna include input, footer input. I'm gonna add placeholder, let's say your@email.com. And next to this input, I'm gonna create a button. It's gonna be F button. And let's say join. Let's create another right menu. I'll say footer right menu, and another title, and it's gonna be follow us. And we are gonna have social media icons, so we are gonna add a container here, footer icons, and I'm gonna add those icons like that: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and their class name will be F icon. And finally, one more footer right menu, and it's gonna include just the text like that. Class name is copyright. That's all. Let's take care of them. Let's see first what we have. As you can see, huge images, newsletter, follow us, and alright resort. Let's say display flex, flex direction column, and justify content space between. And for the input, F input, I'm gonna give just the padding. And for the button, again, padding 5, background color will be black, and text color will be white. Like that. And for those icons, they are gonna be horizontal, display flex, and for each icon, I'm just gonna give new size 20, height 20, and let's give margin between them like that. For copyright, font weight will be thinner, and font size will be 14 like that. Awesome. So we finished our website, but we have a problem. When I click my console, as you can see, it's not responsive. It looks pretty ugly. So how we are gonna take care of this? If you click on this button, you are gonna see some mobile phone models: iPhone, Pixel 5, Samsung Galaxy or something like that, and other things. Basically their width value is around 400. If you search for device breakpoints, you are gonna see some common numbers. For mobile phones, we are gonna be using 480 pixels. But how we are gonna use it? We are gonna be using media query, media screen, and we can write here any condition. I will say and max width is gonna be 480 pixels. So basically, if our screen is less than 480 pixels, it's gonna apply different CSS. Let's open our CSS file here also, and let's check what we have inside our CSS file. Firstly, we have a navbar. Let's write it here, and I will say background color red. Let's check. As you can see, it's less than 480 and background color is red. But if I close here, it's gonna turn back to black. It's that easy. If you are using media query after designing your desktop design, I highly recommend you to comment out other components. For example, we are gonna fix our navbar, so I can just comment out other things like that. In this case, we are gonna see only navbar. Firstly, if you remember, we have a huge space here because of this padding. I'm gonna reduce this. Let's delete this background. I'm gonna say padding 20. So it's gonna delete this 50, it's gonna be just 20. And for the search bar, again I have a mistake here, search. Like that. Okay. So basically I don't want to see this bar, so I will say display none. Okay, it's not here anymore. Awesome. But what about this bottom navbar? Remember, we have navbar bottom here and menu item. For these menu items, I'm gonna decrease this margin. So let's say menu item margin will be 20 pixels. I'm gonna increase font weight and font size like that. But as you can see, it's overflowing. To prevent this, we are gonna use flex wrap property. If you remember, we are using display flex for this navbar bottom. Let's come here and say navbar bottom, and flex wrap will be wrap. In this case, if there is a overflowing, it's gonna move other items into new line like that. So what about our slider? Let's go to the HTML file and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna move this here. Firstly, I'm gonna delete this clip path. So I will say slider clip path will be none, like that. And for this image, it's really big. Slider image, I'm gonna make this 90%. Okay, it's smaller right now, perfect. And this green screen, remember, slider PG, width will be 100%, height will be 100%, so it's gonna be smaller too. And what about those texts? Firstly, I'm gonna delete this title. What was the name? Remember, slider title. I can delete it. It's really big. I will say display none. And what I'm gonna do is moving this price to here and moving this button to here. So for this price, it's already position absolute, remember. I'm gonna unset this top value. It's gonna be unset, and bottom will be 0, left will be 0, and I'm gonna give a background color, light gray, like that. By the way, why it's not 0? Is there any margin or something? Anyway, I'm gonna turn back there, but let's take care of this title, sorry, button. And it was by button, it was position absolute also, so I will say bottom 0 and right 0. Of course, I should unset this top also. Top will be unset, like that. But it's 0, but why it's not 0? Maybe there is a margin there. Interesting. I'm gonna check there again, but for now it can stay. By the way, it looks a little bit strange. Maybe we can move this here. So instead of bottom, I'm gonna say top 0. like that. I think it's better. Let's come here and move this again. I'm gonna open features. Let's come here, features. Okay, let's see first. As you can see, they're horizontal and there is a huge padding here. What I'm gonna do is making this container vertical. So I'm gonna use these features. Flex direction will be column. Like that. Actually, we don't need to delete any padding, they're already centered. So it looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna change anything else. Let's move this comment here. After product. Firstly, let's delete this clip path. I'm gonna go to product. Clip path will be none. Like that. Let's check what we have. As you can see, we don't have display flags here. We can make this display flags and vertical. Let's say display flags, flags direction, column, and align item center. This image looks pretty nice, but this description, let's check what we have. This is payment modal. Okay, here. Okay, it's product details. As you can see, its width is 40%. I'm gonna make it 100%. Width 100%, like that. I'm gonna delete this padding. This title is really huge. I'm gonna decrease that. Font size, let's say 50, and margin will be 0. Okay, it's better, but let's make this details, display flags and vertical. Display flags, flags direction, column, align item center, and text align center. Like that. Perfect. I can increase this product image. It was 50%, so let's say 80%. Okay, it's bigger, but how I'm gonna separate this image and these details? If you remember, it was position absolute, but this time I'm gonna make this position relative, and they are separated. It looks really nice. What else I can change? I'm checking, but I don't know, it looks good. If I say top 0, it's gonna be somewhere here, and it's much better, I think. Okay, I can skip here. So I'm gonna copy this and paste after gallery. Like that. Actually, we don't need a gallery for mobile version. I'm just gonna delete it, and I'm just gonna move this after new season, before footer. Okay, let's come here and say gallery and display none. As you remember, our new season component is horizontal. Let's make this vertical. New season, as you can see. I'm just gonna copy this and flex direction column. Okay, images are perfect, but it looks a little bit strange. So I'm gonna give some padding for this one. This container is NS item, so if I say NS item and nth child, and it's gonna be 2 in this case, and I'm gonna say padding 50 pixels. And as you can see, it's much better. And we have only footer. Let's delete this comment. And here. Okay, it's horizontal again. Let's change quickly. footer, flex direction column, and align item center, like that. For the left side, I'm gonna decrease this padding, footer left, padding, let's say 20. Let's give some width for this left side, because our footer is vertical right now. So if I say width 90%, for example, and it's much better. And for the right side, I will do the same thing. Like that. And let's say align item center. And maybe background color is gonna be white smoke. It looks really small, but it's not the actual size. If I say 100%, they are gonna be much better. Okay, let's take this back, fit to window. So we finished here. Only thing we have is our modal. As you can see, it's overflowing. Let's take care of this. Payment modal. Let's write here payment. I will say width 90%, because here if you remember, width is 500 pixels and it causes overflowing. And I will say padding 20. Let's see. We can see everything clearly. And that's all. You can change them as you wish. For example, you can give here more space for Navbar top, or you can decrease its price number, increase buy now button number. I don't know, but for me it looks pretty good. And that's all, I think. Let's deploy our application right now. So how we are gonna deploy our application? It's really easy. It's just gonna take 10 seconds. This is our main folder, images, JavaScript, HTML and CSS files. Only thing we should do is drag and drop those files into our hosting service. Let's go to Hostinger. This is the Hostinger panel. After buying your hosting or server, you are gonna see this page. As you can see, I have two hostings here. I'm gonna choose this one. And this is gonna be my domain. It's totally free. And what I'm gonna do is scrolling down a little bit, finding files and choosing file manager. As you can see, this is the main directory. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna choose my folders and files and drop here. As you can see, it was just 5 seconds or something like that. Let's check our website. And it's here. As you can see, our connection is secure because we have free SSL certificate and our website is live right now. Awesome. Let's check those functionalities. I'm gonna choose blue one. It's here. Sizes, payment modal, and those links. Let's check. Okay, perfect. It works. So we finished our project. I hope you liked it. Maybe in the future we can create our backend and implement Stripe payment method or something like that. But for now, it was just a design tutorial. And I believe that it's a good project for your portfolio. And that's all. If you learned something new today, please like the video. And you can support the Lama Dev by using the link in the description below, or you can join channel. And don't forget to follow Lama Dev's social media accounts. I hope I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.